What's up, everybody? Adam, Jonathan, back with another video. In this video, we're going to go over how to document and organize processes that your team will actually use.
Yeah, so a very common issue that teams experience is that someone will be looking for a file and the default answer will be, oh, it's somewhere in Google Drive, or oh, it's somewhere in SharePoint. It's somewhere in Dropbox. And that's just not an answer. If you are being forced to go on an expedition through
An
various
excavation.
folders. Yeah, excavation, literally. You're excavating to try to find a piece of information or a file that you need. That's just not a knowledge base. You're just wasting so much time looking for something that already exists than actually using that to do the work that you need to do. It's a tale as old as time. You'll click into a bunch of different folders only to realize, oh, that's the wrong path. You have to go back up to the beginning and start over. That's just such a waste of time, and it's ridiculous that is how work is done in modern settings. That happens across the board, across industries, across all types of companies, and that's just the accepted status quo, and that's something that we personally both experienced when we were working in consulting as well, and it's something that we just got sick of. Yeah, so when I started out in the professional world, I was on Deloitte's corporate strategy team, and we pretty much defaulted to using SharePoint as our quote unquote knowledge base, and we kind of just stuck everything in there. We definitely had, an organization pattern and in architecture that we tried to follow with respect to folders. And that was, by the way, way more organized than a lot of teams certainly are. We definitely made an effort to organize things well. And I thought, given the limitations that SharePoint has, we did a great job. But that's exactly the problem. It's not a knock on the team or the effort. It's purely a knock on the technology itself. What it comes down to is that SharePoint, Google Drive, Dropbox, etc., all of these file hosting platforms, they're terrific for actually creating the assets, right? Nothing is ever going to replace Excel or Google Sheets. Nothing is ever going to replace PowerPoint or slides. Those are just clearly the best ways to create assets and do those things. The problem comes from the folder infrastructure. The fact that we're saying, oh, where's the file path, or how do you get to that file? That should just not be something that's in our terminology when we're talking about finding important pieces of documentation. The folder structure just makes it so that you're clicking into a bunch of different folders within folders within folders to the point that you're wasting so much time actually looking for something, when we should be making it much more flat and a lot easier, where you're only, taking one or two clicks at most to actually find the information that you need, and that it's very easy and accessible, and you know where to go.
Yeah, great way to put it. So that's kind of the lay of the land when it comes to the problems that we face when documenting and organizing processes and beyond processes, all types of tools in a knowledge-based software system. And so in this video, we're going to dive deep into a couple of sections and break down how we can actually evolve and improve on this. So the first part of the video, we want to just discuss some of the ways that we can measure and assess the performance of a process documentation or knowledge-based system. So I love the concept of a flat architecture, and I just have 4 kind of elements that I wanted to throw out there. I actually was researching before the video and found that there was a term called the process documentation triangle, but I actually think it should be a quadrant. There's a missing element, a new dimension, if you want to call it that we need to add on. So the quadrant in my eyes would be, first, accessibility. Can people find it? Clarity. Can people understand it? Actionability. Can people use it? Measurability is the final dimension. Can you understand how to improve it over time, or are you just assuming it's working? So that's what we'll cover in this video. And moving on from that section, we're going to discuss kind of how you actually implement on those things and ways that we've done this in real examples. So I actually think it's pretty clear, like, those, pillars are pretty important: accessibility, clarity, actionability, measurability. Let's just dive into some examples about how we're doing that right now at Kahana. So just to really get a good example going, pretend Jonathan is a complete newbie at Kahana. He has no idea about any of the processes, and I'm his boss, which is not exactly, the wrong example, but, So I think the most important process for him to know about when he's starting out at Kahana is cybersecurity. And so you just have to be aware of the changes in cybersecurity climate, the types of ways that hackers can try to get a hold of you. So, in our first onboarding meeting, I'm going to tell him, hey man, there's a couple of hubs I want you to look at. The first one I want you to look at is cybersecurity. All you do is log into your account, and I've given you access to this. Go search for cybersecurity process. And inside that hub is going to be everything you need to follow and look at. And after you take a look at that, just let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, so now I will show you that hub right here. I'll go right into our Kahana account. And as you can see, we have several process hubs right here. So the cybersecurity one is right here. So I'll click right into that. Wait for it to load. And then notice what we talked about last time, right? Or what we talked about right before this was the flat architecture. So as you can see, instead of opening this and then I see, a bunch of different folders that I have to click into to then open documents, to then potentially click into more folders and open more documents, all of the documentation, all of the navigation that I have to do is just right here. And instead of having to click into things and open new tabs, every single document I could need is actually accessible right here on this left side. So if I want to click into the what is phishing document, boom, it pops up right here. If I want to click into identify and handle, I can click that right here and it pops up. If I want to look at the step-by-step recording, boom, pops up. Report phishing, boom, pops up. You get the idea. And the great thing about Kahana, of course, is that you can have all different types of documentation. So this, for example, is a scribe link. These are Google Docs that I was clicking on before. This is a video. You can also embed Loom videos. And with the folder infrastructure architecture, it's still all organized neatly into folders, but I can see what all is in each of these folders. You also don't need to embed folders within folders within folders. You could do that if you wanted, but you don't really have to because it's just easily visible right here. I know exactly where to click. I'm saving a bunch of time. And another neat thing that we can show you here too, if I want to click here, it looks like I have to request access to this document. So I can just do request access, and then a notification will be sent to the owner of this document, and they can either approve or reject it depending on whether they want me to access it. And then the beautiful thing too is that you can do the same exact process for any overarching topic, right? You can have a cybersecurity process hub. You can have a sales process hub. You can have a market research process hub, a customer success process hub. I think you're starting to get the picture that you can basically organize all of your processes into these hubs, where each hub then has all of the necessary documentation, files, important pieces of information, etc., for you to review. And everything is accessible right then and there, instead of having to dig for files and open up new windows and tabs. It's all just right there in the center, and the only the only click you really have to take is just clicking into the hub itself.
There's actually one thing when you're going through it that I noticed it's lacking, and that is a feedback form. And so another thing you can do is add in a form to collect feedback from people who are onboarding or looking at the process documentation to get better measurements around everything we said. Like, is it clear? Was it accessible? Was it actionable? That'll give you the information that you need. So I really appreciate having that. And in fact, we'll just show you right now how we can add that in. So I'll grab a form that we use, and we'll just add it in. We actually use the same feedback form for all of our onboarding hubs. And so it has a multiple choice kind of option where you can select which hub you're giving feedback on, and it all goes to one Google Sheet that we can see. And so all of our feedback is pretty accessible in the same place. And yeah, so let me just grab it real quick and I'll put it in right now. And from your end, Jonathan, and folks watching, I'm just going into the Cybersecurity Process Hub and embedding it, and you should see it pop up once we refresh.
Yep, you weren't lying. It's right there. So it's right at the top. And yeah, as Adam said, you can fill this out directly and submit it, and then we get the feedback. This is an awesome addition to have for any process hub that you're creating, because it allows them to give immediate feedback as they're actually consuming the content and reviewing it. So if they think that things need to be, if materials need to be added, if they think things need to be removed or outdated, they can fill that out, and then whoever is managing that process or kind of responsible for keeping things up to date can easily see that and act and make sure that this is something that's not just collecting dust and that it's continuing to be updated over time.
Yeah, and do you mind just clicking into the process feedback form at the very top? So we have two forms here. One is just general feedback for our product, and we like to include that in all of our hubs. And then this is a more particular form about just the actual processes, the standard operating procedures, the artifacts that we're putting in. If you are interested in getting access to these types of forms or would like some examples from us, just go ahead and go on the Explore page. So once you have a Kahana account, you can go to the Explore page, and we'll be building a bunch of these types of kind of frameworks and hubs with like standard templates, inspirational materials for you to work off of. And so you can kind of tailor those things to your own organization as you move forward, kind of building out your knowledge base and your processes. Cool, so that's a wrap. Thank you so much for checking out this video and for watching all the way through if you're still with us here. If you're still with us here, I mean, might as well just toss us a like, toss us a bone. You know, we spend a good amount of time building this channel, and it really helps us with the YouTube algorithm and all that, you know, getting in front of people. So if you like this, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and we promise you that all we're going to be doing is producing more useful, practical content to help you build an excellent killer knowledge base for your company, your team, your organization, so that you can pool together resources, share them, and fuel your growth and your initiatives. And so that's our whole mission here at Kahana. We want to fuel from the pools. And so let's get your pool started. The next thing you can do to get started would be check out the Explore page on Kahana. There's a bunch of awesome hubs there that are built by our community, built by us as well. You can navigate and find them. If you want to get in touch with us, we're available on LinkedIn. Those links will be in the description of this video down below. And yeah, you can also leave us comments in this YouTube video and we'll get back to you. We're looking forward to continuing to improve this channel, and so we understand that none of this is perfect. If you have any feedback that can help us improve the quality of this video, anything we can do with respect to the production quality, the topics, just give us the feedback and we really appreciate it. And we can't wait to be on this journey with you. So thank you and have a great rest of your day, y'all. Love y'all. See ya. Bye.